Hello, everybody. We are the Sunday League Pundits. I'm Achin, and with me is Utkarsh. And this is our first video where we are going to discuss the Premier League top six. So, Utkarsh, do you want to start with your predictions?
So my top six is gonna be Liverpool first. Second, gonna go with City. Third, it's gonna be Chelsea. Seeing the window, fantastic window they've had. Fourth, it's gonna be Arsenal. Fifth, it's very tight between United and Spurs, I would say. But fifth, I'm gonna go with United, and sixth, I'm gonna go with Spurs. What about you, Achint?
Okay, so I'm also going with Liverpool for the title. I'll go second City. Third, I'm going to go with Man United. Fourth, I'll be Chelsea. Fifth, I'm going to go with Arsenal. And sixth, I'm going to go with Spurs. So, why do you think Liverpool is going to win this time as well?
I mean, it's easy to see why you are going to win this time. I mean, you've already seen Thiago till the point this video comes out. I mean, he has been fantastic in the game against Chelsea. I mean, he clearly showed what he brings to the Liverpool midfield. I mean, which they lacked. Not underestimating Jordan and Henderson, but I think a player he can create chances at will. I mean, he can beat a man. Only Naby Keita offered, I think, that part, and he has an eye for run pass. You obviously know that, and he can control the tempo of the game. I mean, which is very important for a team which likes to dominate the ball. So I think, and the price they have signed him at 25 million, I think it's a steal. And considering they've also brought him back up for Robertson, which was very much needed. I mean, Milner is getting old every year, so they needed someone to bring up to cover at that position. They've got in Timiskas. So what do you think about Jota? How is it going to impact them?
I think Jota is also a very crucial signing. Liverpool have been very lucky with their front three. They have not encountered any injuries for the past two seasons. So I think Jota is the good thing with Jota is that he can slot in for Firmino as well as Salah or Mane, either of the three.
Mane, yeah. He can play anywhere on the front line, yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest plus point with him. And Liverpool can afford to. I think the Klopp can approach the domestic cup competitions with a little more competitive mindset, because we saw last season that he really gave up on the domestic trophies. He did not really give them their due importance. So I think
they really had a bad fixture pile up considering the Carabao Cup and in the FA Cup they just played the youth team. I mean, they didn't have any other option. They were going for the title, which was obviously their main target. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So I think Jota is going to help them in that regard. I agree with you what you said about Thiago. Thiago is going to allow them to change their tempo. They had three very similar midfielders in Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho. They are very similar in that they are very good at winning the ball back, and none of them has that chance creation and ball progression that Thiago provides with himself. So I think Thiago is really helpful for them in that regard.
With ball progression, I would say. I mean, he's a really good dribbler. I mean, in enclosed spaces also.
I think Thiago is going to be more of a mainstay for them. Keita was in and out of the team a lot. He has trouble with injuries as well. So I think Thiago really helps him in that regard. What do you think about City?
I mean, City, they've made some good signings, considering Ferran Torres at 20 million is a very good signing. And they were linked with a lot of centre backs, Jimenez, Koulibaly, Koundé. They even lost a bit for Koundé, which Sevilla rejected. So at last, they settled with Ruben Diaz and Nathan Ake. I mean, Nathan Ake is a good Premier League player. I mean, he was good at Bournemouth. I mean, his team was obviously not up to the mark, and that's why they got relegated. So I think it's a good signing, but I think at 41 million, I think they overpaid for a bit, but that's City for you, considering their signings. And also at Ruben Diaz at 55 million, I think it's a good centre back. But do you expect to come in and just sort the defense? I don't think so. I think he will take his time. Yes, he's going to be good for City, but if you think he's the centre back that is going to win you the title, I don't think so. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think Koulibaly was the signing most of us were expecting, and they couldn't deliver because of their bad relationship between Napoli and City. I think that played a factor in that. So Koulibaly is a centre back who's at his peak right now. He's 29, and he would have slotted into the first team right away. I think Ruben Diaz is a good signing. He's been targeted by a lot of clubs over the past couple of seasons, but in terms of coming into the Premier League and putting a lot of responsibility on him to be a regular in the side and stay consistent, I think that is too much. I also think that City are really struggling with injuries as well right
No, I
now.
think he will
And
be a regular in the side. I mean, yeah, I think he's a good player. I think and I've not seen him much to be honest, except Portugal and sometimes Benfica in the Europa League or the Champions League when they are playing in the Champions League. I think he's a good centre back. I think he's a commanding presence in the box, but don't think he's a centre back that's going to win you the title. So that
yeah,
is a major problem.
I agree with that. I think they really needed, and they're struggling in the forward line as well. Aguero is injured, and Jesus also recently got injured.
Uh,
So they're having to play a very makeshift forward in Sterling, and we really saw how that plan played out against Leicester, where they really got battered by Leicester in the second half.
mm.
Uh, I also think Ferran Torres as well. I think all of the signings are not like the finished article in any way, where they're all very young signings, and none of them are going to provide
But I
them
think
the
that
extra.
is the City model right now. I know I'm interrupting you a bit, but I think that's the City model. They are not signing stars at the moment. I mean, a completed article like you can see Sterling. I mean, they are overpaying for a bit, but I think they are signing players which they can improve. Like Leroy Sané. I mean, he has departed now, but when back they signed him, he was an emerging star for like Ferran Torres, we can say right now, and Nathan Ake. So I think that is the transfer policy. I think which is the right thing to do in the long run because you cannot
I agree
sign.
with I agree with you, but I think where Liverpool are, we can really see that most of the players they are at their peak right now. You can say Mane is around 28, Salah is also the same age, Firmino is the same age. So most of them are entering their peak years, and I think Liverpool is really Liverpool. You can see like even with Liverpool, you didn't really see with Klopp signings. He signed Fabinho, he signed Robertson. So not all of the signings were
Mm.
not anybody were had not nobody had the X factor. I think Thiago is that is after a long time they signed a player who is at their peak and who's chosen to come to Liverpool. And I think that's what differentiates a title winning side to a challenger. And I think that's why City will fall short from
The
Liverpool.
Chelsea made. I mean, they brought in Werner, ZH, who else?
I think,
Kai
yeah,
Havertz.
yeah, Thiago Silva, Chilwell. I think,
Uh,
yeah, they have signed a lot of players they needed and in the positions they needed. But I think uh, too many cooks spoil the broth for me. I think they've signed a little for the chemistry for the squad. I think even if you see in the couple, like few matches we've seen Chelsea play, Lampard doesn't know his first team. We saw that he's playing a lot of different
Obviously, the
systems in all
signings
the
they
three
made.
matches.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think one stumbling block for Lampard will be his adamancy in playing Mount a lot. He usually his last
Mm.
season as well. He played Mount consistently, and he can play him in any position. He's and I think if ZH comes back. After he's currently injured, and if ZH comes back, I think he'll have a really problem on his hand if he wants to start Mount. I think it's too much responsibility on a young
I
player
think
like him.
I don't think Mount starts all the matches. I mean, last season he played most minutes in all the academy players that were given their debut. So I mean, all the academy players considered. So I don't think this season he will get as many or more minutes as back in last season. But right now, considering ZH is injured and Pulisic is injured, right now he has. Don't think he has any other option, anybody else to play him out. I mean, obviously he will pick up Mount above Column Hudson-Odoi. I don't think he's been good since the past year. I mean, since when he signed a new contract, he's not been up to the mark.
I agree with you. I think, but the like main thing I feel why Chelsea will finish fourth is because they don't know their best team. I think having so many players, as I said,
Mm,
too many cooks spoil the broth. Plus, it's really hard for them to gel together as well so quickly. You cannot
mm,
expect them all to have strike off their chemistry and start assisting and scoring goals all over the place. I think as the season progresses, I think as like around the fifth, as around December, January, we can see some sort of consistency in the results. But I think till then they will drop points. They've already dropped 4 points, 5 points. So
mm.
I think that is where they'll fall short. Why I put United above them? I'm sure you disagree. We saw in your predictions. But why I put United above them is United of. I am still confident. I know there are 3 days left to the transfer window ending. I'm still confident Sancho will come. We'll seeing that he's not. He's trying to force the move now. I see he's trying to force the move now that he's not training with the team and everything. But I think Sancho will be very crucial for us on the right wing because we the problem with United is we don't have a pure winger right now. Rashford is an
Mm.
inside forward. Even Greenwood is an inside forward. So both of
Inside
them
forward,
you normally see when they have the ball, they look to cut inside and score a goal. And Greenwood
yeah.
is that we saw like towards post lockdown, we really saw that was his marquee style. That he's scoring most of his goals by coming inside and on his left foot and scoring. So I think we need Sancho, a winger who can run down the line and create chances as well as come inside. So he has that extra extra in his locker. I think that's why Sancho will be crucial for us, which I'm still confident. And I think Telles as well. I think left back we need Luke Shaw is not
I
good.
think, but
Going
United is
forward.
also linked with Dembele. What do you think about Dembele? Would you take Dembele as a signing?
I don't think. I think
If
Dembele
the
is going to
Sancho
be a
doesn't
disaster
come, would you
signing.
take Dembele?
I won't. I won't. I really, if Sancho doesn't come, I'd rather we don't sign anybody or we sign. I don't want to, but
So are you happy with
we rather sign
Daniel James playing
Ismail
half?
Assar. I I think last season we saw Daniel James. He started like that new signing bounce we have when new signing has that he started on off a very in a bright run of form, but then we saw that he really towards the middle of the season and the end of the season he started burning out. He couldn't really. We really saw that his game was looking very unidimensional. He wasn't really doing much for the team. So I think Daniel James is too much to put on his shoulders. I think a lot of United fans are demanding that Daniel James either be sold or we try to just sell him off. I don't think that's the right decision. He's 23 only, and we
I
bought him
think
from
if
Swansea.
you
So
can get your, I think if you can get your targets, I think if you get both Sancho and Dembele, I can see Daniel James maybe leaving on a loan to a team in the Championship
but I
or a
don't think
Premier
I
League.
don't think
But I don't think we're gonna go get
financially.
both of the signings.
No,
It's
no, no,
gonna
not
be
at
either
all. I
one.
don't think.
Hmm.
No, no, it's going to be Sancho and Dembele because I think why selling Alexis Sanchez was something was a move towards settling our wage structure. As crazy as it sounds with Woodward, but I think he wants to settle our wage structure right now. And I think getting both Dembele and Sancho
Jesse
is
Lingard is still on 100K, by the way. If you're
yeah,
talking
I know.
about
I think if Sancho comes and if Telles also comes, I think that will really provide that extra edge to our team and give us give us a lift from last season because we really saw that last season towards the end we faced a lot of fatigue. We had to play the same team
But
in all
the
the
prediction you
competitions.
are making, I'm making on signings. I'm making on players which your team has not signed yet. So
I
if they
think
don't
yeah.
come,
So,
what then?
yeah, I think if Sancho doesn't come, which I think is not which is unlikely that he doesn't come. But if Sancho comes, I think we'll finish third. Otherwise, we'll be just behind Chelsea. I feel we'll be either third or fourth,
You'll
depending
stay
on
with
the
the
sign.
team you have right now. How do you see Arsenal not getting above United, considering that Arteta has a preseason now with the team, and we have made some good signings that have, you can say, real. Saliba is still playing with that, and Oba has signed a new deal. Uh, I think if Torreira goes out, definitely we're gonna get a body in the midfield. It's gonna be Oba or Partey. So how do you see United still a bit finishing above Arsenal
I
if they
I
don't make
think
any signings?
yeah, I think United will have face troubles as the season progresses if you don't make both of the signings I mentioned. But if Arsenal doesn't sign our, I think they are also short in some departments. I think defensively they have
No,
strengthened, which they
if you
needed.
lose Torreira, I think we're definitely gonna bring a body in the midfield. It's gonna be our party. I think it's more likely gonna be our now. Uh, but the signings we have already made, if Torreira stays and if we don't sign uh, our party, I'm still happy with the squad. If Torreira stays, so we're in the Europa League, so we don't need to put our best 11 in the midweek. So that is a bit of a relief, considering our squad is not very thick. I mean, we have got decent cover in all the positions, but in the front line, I would say playing Nketiah in the Champions League or in the Europa League. So that's a big difference considering the teams. Sorry. So
But
the signings we have made, and
I
yeah,
think
go on.
Arsenal have made good signing. They've strengthened in the right places. But I'm putting them below United for the reason that I think their midfield. I think Awar is a really essential signing for Arsenal because their midfield is short on creativity. Ozil
Now we
is
have got Ceballos
more or less
there.
outside. Ceballos,
But
I
the
think
system we are
Ceballos
playing,
is
I
there,
mean,
but
we
I think
don't rely on our midfielders to create chances. The thing is, I mean, for what you can 3-4-3, I think fullbacks and we don't really depend upon the midfielder. It's either the ball from the back, or sometimes if the chance comes up, or Xhaka with a long ball, curved long ball, which with his left foot. I think we don't need a very creative midfield in there as the system we are playing now. I think obviously if we get our is in a upgrade on Ceballos, I would say yes, in that attacking sense, obviously. Uh, so let's see. Still with the squad we have, I think we are going to finish top four if United don't make the signings there. they need to.
Do you think Arteta would play Aouar and Ceballos together with Xhaka maybe?
No, no, no. I think Xhaka against lesser teams, it's gonna be Awar Xhaka because Xhaka is a mainstay in the midfield. And against team which we need to sit deep, I think it's gonna be Elneny. And I think Elneny is gonna rotate with Ceballos in those matches depending on the situations. But I think it's Elneny is gonna get the preference because we need a body in there to defend because we wanna sit deep and then counter.
Really see that they're in a good run of form. That Arteta has done since their FA Cup run. Arsenal has really picked up in terms of their mentality. The whole squad is. I think Arteta has really got a good grip on the squad, which we didn't see with the previous manager. Emery had a lost dressing room. He didn't really know his best team, and he was not really gelling. The squad was not really gelling. That's why we saw him getting the sack. I think Arteta is doing good in instilling a good mentality in the squad, but I think Arsenal really lacks in the forward department because I don't think you can expect Lacazette to really get the same numbers or even anywhere close between Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang is way more
I think
consistent and
we don't expect to get Lacazette. I think if Lacazette gets around 15 goals in the Prem, I think it's going to be a very good season for him. I mean, he's got 3-3 right now, so I think he's obviously going to go to the double digit if he does not get injured. And I think when Lacazette doesn't fire and Aubameyang doesn't fire, I think someone from the bench, Pepe or Nketiah. I mean, we have got a lot of options. Willian, somebody comes up with the goods.
I
I
agree.
think it's
Like
hard to
if
look past
Lacazette gets
Arsenal
15
if.
goals, if Lacazette gets 15 goals, then obviously he's had a good season. Last season, we really saw him struggle away from home a lot. So I think away from home is really crucial for Arsenal this season for Lacazette because and I think even in the midfield, I think chance creation. If you see, like if you compare like the fullbacks sometimes create chances. I think Tierney is a really strong component of the Arsenal squad and defensively as well as going forward, he provides a lot. But I
Offensively.
don't think right back is the issue. I think right back is an issue. I think Bellerin, either Bellerin or
Yeah,
Maitland
we've
Niles will
got
play. I
Bellerin,
don't think.
Suarez. I mean, a good fullback. I think except who Man United or Liverpool, or you can say City. Obviously, Kyle Walker is also a very good player. I think he walks into any Premier League team. So I think I'm very happy with Bellerin at right back. What do you think about Spurs? I think the signings they made, Bale, Regular, and Doherty, and they're also. I mean, Vinicius is also almost a done deal on a loan with an option to buy. I think it's a very good deal for Spurs. If he fires, if I think it's the right kind of deal for Spurs. If he's going to perform, obviously they're going to sign him, and there's no obligation. So, what do you think about the window they've had, and are they going to
I
break into
think
top four?
Spurs
Can
have had a
Mourinho
good window.
do it?
I think Spurs have had a good window. They've backed Mourinho, and this is like indirect contrast to what happened at United in his last season. He was not backed in the window, and that's what happened. So I think if he's being backed, I think that he ultimately will start producing. I think a lot of people are writing off Mourinho. I think people are thinking that Mourinho is not good. He's going to be the first to go out of a job come Christmas or come the second half of the season. But I think he's really getting a hand on the squad. He's getting the players he
Mm,
wants, and I think that's. And I don't think for me, I don't think Spurs will prioritize the league as much as getting a trophy. I think in the domestic competition and even in Europa
mm,
League, I think they will see that as a route to the Champions League more. And they have good squad depth now, which they didn't have
mm,
before. I think if as soon as Kane goes out, they are in a crisis. We've seen that over the past couple
mm.
of seasons. As soon as Kane goes out, they don't have any striking
I mean,
options. They don't have any goals.
they've been unlucky with injuries in the past few seasons. We would say.
Yeah. Last season was disastrous for them in terms of injuries. We
Mm,
really saw that Son was out, Kane was out, and they were really
mm.
bare bones. And in January, Ericsson went to Inter Milan, so they didn't really have
Didn't have enough.
any
They
creative
just
presence in
brought in,
their
I
team.
think, Jetson Fernandez in January. I think anybody else and Steven Bergwijn. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think they have really strengthened in the right areas. I think they needed an upgrade over Ben Davies, and they got it in Region. They even have
I
better.
think it's a
I think they have
very
a
good upgrade on Ben Davis.
yeah. And they have Doherty as well on right back. He's more mentally, you can say, sound than Aurier. Aurier is very rash in his decision making. I think Aurier can really like throw away like in crucial moments he can really make that rash decision, and I think that is where Doherty is
And
important.
Mourinho said it
But
in the documentary itself that he doesn't trust Ori in the defensive side. I think he can give a silly penalty anytime. So that
yeah,
really says a lot. I mean, the manager saying it on camera, which is obviously he knows that everybody is going to say it. So I think, I mean, it was the right thing. Obviously, Aurier can make a rash tackle any time in the game. He's a hothead, you would say. And what do you think about Hoiberg? How does he fit in the team?
I think Mourinho really needed a midfield signing who is of the same mentality as him. I think in all of his successful sides, in all of his managerial stints, he has that one midfield enforcer type of player, that one
Mm,
tenacious tackling type of player who really brings that fighting edge to the match.
mm,
And I think Hoiberg is really a perfect representation of that. They because their midfield was, you can say, mentally too soft before. They didn't like, they
mm.
had wings. They have Dyer is now probably going to play center back, but none of
We-
them. I think
you
Dyer
see
was
his
the
Dyer
only
as
one
a
who was a
centre back.
little.
I think so. I don't think Dyer has got a future in midfield right now.
Yeah, I think so as well. So I think Hoiberg really brings that tenaciousness in the midfield and that winning the ball back and controlling the midfield somewhat. I think that is going to help them a lot. But what do you think about the right back in a full back situation? Don't you think they have gone too attacking, which is like really not what Mourinho has in his fullbacks given his managerial record? He doesn't really go for both of the attacking fullbacks.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a point there. I mean, Regulon and Doherty are both very attacking fullbacks. Seeing them last season for Sevilla and Wolves, obviously, Doherty has come up with some important goals. I think the first few matches I've seen Davies stays back, and when they attack, it's more of a back three. And what's his name? Doherty pushes forward as more of a right wing back, or you could say a right mid. So when Regulon comes into a team, maybe they switch to a back three. Maybe I'm not sure what Mourinho is going to
Yeah,
do, but
as well.
I think it's very unlikely considering the centre back options they have at the moment. It's I think they lag in the centre back still. That's why I placed them sixth. And I'm not sure how they're going to play. I think Mourinho is going to work out something. Either one of his fullbacks have to be a bit more defensive. Obviously, they can't play with both attacking full of bombing forward. I mean, it's not the Mourinho way, obviously. And
Yeah.
uh, what do you think about the signing of Bale? Has he still got it?
I think Bale is like for Spurs fans is like, and even for like Premier League fans in general, he's like a really uh, what do you say, blockbuster signing. You can say we all wanted to see Bale back in the Premier League at some point.
I think
But in
it's
terms
a
of,
bit
I
of
think
a marketing move also on the
yeah,
side of Spurs, considering the documentary has come out. Everybody is talking about Spurs and the documentary. So signing Bale is back. I think it's a bit of a marketing tend to it, considering the on obviously he provides a world class option on the pitch, but he provides a very good marketing strategy of the pitch, which says a lot about Daniel Levy.
I think I agree with you. I think Daniel Levy is we have seen Spurs being linked with Bale before, and I think Daniel Levy has some sort of soft spot for Bale. That's why he mainly came back. I think, but Bale, like the past 2 seasons, you see, he had a gripe with Zinedine Zidane. He was not really being
Mhm.
backed as a player. Plus he had this, but the major issue is he had injuries, a lot of injuries.
Mhm.
I think he had around 13 injuries in the past, which really says that his body, like he's getting older, so his like body is not really keeping. He's not really
I think his body's
consistent
not able to
enough
cope up.
for a good run.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think the age is getting the better of him, but you can really see. I think what mattered more is I think the Madrid fans were really against him. They didn't really support him. I think mentality also matters for a player as much as staying fit does.
Obviously.
I think yeah, if he puts a good run of fit, like if he's fit for a good part of the season, I think, and he's going to be obviously backed by the fans and by everybody way more than he was in Madrid. I think that can really help him offer. I think he has still a lot in his locker. He has still got
I'm gonna
gold.
make a small change in my table, so I'm gonna go Spurs fifth on the signings they made right now and the signings that are almost confirmed. Vinicius, I'm gonna go United sixth because
I think I
if Sancho and who else Teles arrives, I think it's gonna change a bit. But right now, I mean, Spurs have brought in every department they needed. They're still a centre back short, but they're linked with Rudiger and Skriniar. I think Skinner is not coming. Inter have said that they do not want to sell below 60 million, and Spurs obviously don't want to pay 60 million for Skinner. So I think it's not happening. If they get in a centre back, I think also they're also linked with Tony Rudiger. if they get in a centre back, I think they would have a fantastic window. I would say even better than Chelsea, because Chelsea have overpaid for a bit of the players, and I trust more Mourinho than Frank Lampard to know how to make the signing work. So I'm gonna go with Spurs fifth, United sixth.
I think you just maybe you've analyzed your signings right now. So I think that's it for our video. These are our predictions. So we'll just go through them again. My predictions are Liverpool first, City second, United third, Chelsea fourth, Arsenal fifth, and Spurs sixth. And Utkarsh, your predictions?
It's gonna be Liverpool first, second gonna be City, third Chelsea, fourth Gunners, fifth it's gonna be Spurs, and sixth is gonna be United. I mean, it pains to see me put Spurs fifth, but the signings they made and the window that United have had till now, I think it's gonna be Spurs fifth and United sixth.
Okay, so that's it for our first video. Guys, you can comment your predictions for the top six in the comments below and let us know how you. This was our first video. Let us know if you agree with our predictions. If you don't agree, comment whatever you want down below and subscribe for more content like the same. And stay tuned.